Let's talk about inflation and interest rates. You hear these terms everywhere, right? On the news, online, but they're not just abstract headlines. They have a real, direct impact on your wallet, your savings, and your future. So in this explainer, we're going to connect the dots. I mean, that's the real question, isn't it? We hear these words all the time, but what's the bottom line? How do these big macroeconomic ideas actually ripple through our own bank accounts and our investments? Well, let's break it all down. You know that feeling when you're at the grocery store or the gas pump and it just feels like your money doesn't stretch as far as it used to? Yeah, you are not imagining it. That feeling right there, that's our starting point for understanding the huge economic forces at play. To really get why your money is buying less, we need to zoom out a bit and look at the two main levers that control the entire economy. Think of them as the tools used to either hit the gas or pump the brakes on economic growth. Okay, first up, inflation. Put simply, it's the reason a dollar today is worth more than a dollar tomorrow. As the average price of everything goes up, the purchasing power of your money goes down. That is the absolute key. But here's something that might surprise you. Not all inflation is the bad guy. A little bit of it, what economists call healthy, moderate inflation, is actually a sign of a growing, humming economy. The real danger zones are excessive inflation, which just eats away at your savings, and its evil twin, deflation, which can grind spending to a complete halt. So how do we even know how much inflation there is? Well, we basically look at two sides of the same coin. We track what you and I pay for stuff at the store, and we also track what it costs businesses to make that stuff in the first place. Together, those two indexes give us the full picture. And that brings us to the second and arguably more powerful lever, interest rates. On the surface, it's just the cost of borrowing money, but underneath, it's like the master switch for the entire economy. Central banks flip this switch to control inflation, and that one move changes everything, from your mortgage payment all the way up to the stock market. And this is the perfect way to think about it. When the economy is a little sluggish, central banks can lower rates. They hit the gas to encourage us all to borrow and spend. But when things get too hot and inflation starts taking off, they raise rates, slamming on the brakes to cool everything down. Okay, so we've got the basics down. Now, let's get into something the pros watch very closely. It's almost like the market's own secret weather forecast, and it has this uncanny ability to predict economic storms long before they hit land. And this secret tool is called the yield curve. Now, it looks pretty simple, but it is incredibly powerful. All it does is plot a graph, comparing the interest you get on short-term loans versus long-term ones. But the shape of that simple line is one of the most reliable predictors we have for the future of the entire economy. See, in a healthy, growing economy, the curve slopes up like this. And it makes sense, right? You'd expect to get paid more interest for locking your money away for a longer period of time. When the curve looks like this, it's basically the economy's all-clear signal. But when the curve flips, when it inverts and slopes down like this, that is a major, major warning sign. It means investors are actually more scared of the immediate future than the distant one, and historically, an inverted yield curve has been an incredibly accurate predictor of a coming recession. Okay, so we've talked about inflation, interest rates, and this kind of spooky yield curve. So what? How does all of this actually hit your personal portfolio? Let's trace the ripple effect through the different assets you might own. This chart gives us a fantastic bird's eye view. As you can see, rising rates and inflation definitely don't treat everything the same way. Some assets tend to get hurt, others can actually benefit, and some, well, they play a pretty complicated role. Let's break these down one by one. So for stocks, rising rates can be a bit of a double whammy. First, it costs more for companies to borrow money to grow. And second, the promise of a big profit way down the road becomes less valuable when you can get a safer return right now. Both of those things can push stock prices down. The big exception? Banks. They often do well since they get to charge higher interest on all their loans. Now, for bonds, the relationship is much more direct and it's inverse. The easiest way to think about it is like a seesaw. When new interest rates go up, the price of your existing older bonds with lower rates goes down. It makes sense. Why would anyone buy your old bond when they can just get a brand new one with a better payout? Interest rates also have a huge impact on currencies. Let's say a country raises its interest rates. Well, suddenly, that becomes a really attractive place for foreign investors looking for a better return on their cash. This flood of new money creates more demand for the currency, which tends to make its value go up. And finally, we've got commodities, things like gold and oil. Because they are real, physical things, investors often run to them to protect their money when inflation is high. But here's the twist. A huge spike in the price of something like oil can actually pour fuel on the fire, causing even more inflation across the economy. It can become a vicious cycle. All right. We've covered the core concepts and how they impact different markets. The final, most important piece of the puzzle is turning this knowledge into action. How can you use all this to navigate the changing financial tides and make smarter decisions? Well, it really boils down to a simple three-step framework. First, you have to look around and analyze the current economic weather. Is it hot and inflationary, or is it cold and deflationary? Second, you have to really understand how the things you own, your assets, tend to react in that weather. And finally, you can make adjustments to protect your portfolio and preserve its value for the long haul. This quote from the source material really just says it all. This isn't about having a crystal ball and perfectly predicting the future. No one can do that. It's about understanding these cause and effect relationships so you can build a more resilient and ultimately more informed financial strategy. And that really leaves us with one last question to think about. The economic landscape is always shifting, always changing. Understanding the forces we've talked about today is a huge first step, but the real challenge and the real opportunity is to stay curious and keep adapting. Thanks for joining me.